Let's get started with the Eagles here. You're coming off an 8-5 overall season, 6-2 in the conference. It was the best season you'd had in your 3 seasons since taking over the Eagles program. Do you feel like you have a lot of momentum coming into the season?
Definitely. This is actually the 4th year of a 3-year project of recruiting, retention. And you look around the locker room right now and you got 3rd, 4th, 5th-year players that know how to lead. They know the expectations. They know the standards. And they've got a chip on their shoulder. You know, they've got the same 2 coordinators coming in offensively and defensively. Our systems haven't changed. So there's a lot of consistency. And like I said, they have that hunger. We finished 1 game out of that championship game, literally 1 play out from that championship game. And so that's eating at all of us, staff, players, and we're looking forward to getting this season started.
4th year of a 3-year project, and you just recently got a 5-year contract extension through 2029, so congratulations on that. Get a little bit more time to work on that 3-year project, but I know you're making great strides. You picked to finish 2nd in the Sun Belt East. That means your peer coaches believe that you're making great progress there with the Georgia Southern program. You were very close, as you mentioned, to being in the championship game a year ago. What do you got to do specifically to be better and be good enough to win the East and play in that championship game this year?
Yeah, this league is so hard and so competitive. You're talking about 27 bowl teams in the last 3 years of my time, 11 Power 4 victories. That's the most of any group of 6 conference. And so the one thing that we've learned as a team is you have to bring your A game each and every week. You know, 6 wins in the league is not going to get it done. This is a 7-8 win league that you have to do to be able to get to that conference championship game. So you can't get comfortable. You can't get stagnant. You got to play every game like it is the Super Bowl, because that one game could matter. We knew that we were in a battle with Marshall last year. We knew we needed to go 4-0 in November, and we went 3-1, and that one game cost us.
And probably too many turnovers. I mean, you did improve your turnover ratio last year. You were 9 better than the year before, and that oftentimes will come with a wide open offense, which you've installed there at Georgia Southern. But what can you do? How do you do specifically to take care of the football as you're preparing for the season, which is something I'm sure you've probably been working on?
Yeah, you know, we made it a huge point of emphasis from 2 years ago that really kept us at 6 wins. We propelled ourselves to put us in contention because of that, of what we did last year in the turnover ratio. We finished on the plus side of the turnovers in the regular season. Obviously had a bowl loss because of those turnovers. The one thing that I appreciate, and I've got him here today, our quarterback J.C. French, you know, walking out of that game, I'll never forget him meeting me in the tunnel and say, "Coach, that'll never happen again as long as you and I are together." And I've seen that sense of urgency from him, from our offense, understanding that protecting the ball and getting turnovers defensively, being on that plus side of that turnover margin is what wins championships and gets you to the championship game. So better doesn't mean good. We got better last year. Now we got to go get good.
Yeah, absolutely. Go good to great is what you need to do, and that's how you end up winning championships. Let's do a positional breakdown of your team. Let's start with your quarterback. You did mention J.C. French. He is here with you today, and he's going to be talking with Rocky Boyman in just a few moments. You bring him back. That's a rare commodity in this conference to bring back an incumbent quarterback, a guy that's got snaps in your program, and that's a big luxury to have. But your son Turner has joined your program from Western Kentucky, where he was playing for his uncle, and also Weston Bryant is a very intriguing prospect, kind of looking future range now for Georgia Southern, but if I dare say, a Tim Tebow type quarterback in high school.
Yeah, definitely. That quarterback room is really stellar right now. You talk about 2 older kids in JC and Turner, but then having 3 younger kids in that room also, in Tyler Budge and Weston Bryan and Charlie Johnston, and even a young player in Trey that allows us to be really consistent with our depth there. I remember coming in year 1, and it was Kyle Van Treese, and I prayed to God every night he did get hurt. Now we've got a really deep room full of the talented kids, and looking forward to them walking out on the field.
Yeah, and this is also the first year out of your 4 that you've brought back a quarterback. Every year you've had to replace your starting quarterback. So how does that continuity look on the football field in 2025?
Yeah, I'm a coach's son, and my dad always taught me there's trained and untrained. And so to have one trained at the quarterback position, which is the most important position on the field for each and every program, is that consistency allows you to sleep at night as a head coach. And, you know, to see JC's confidence, to see the swagger that he has. Experience and reps go a long way, and the experience that he gained from last year, first year in the league as a starter, to get 6 wins, out of that league to go 6-2 is a great start for him. And now I know he's going to lead us to that championship game.
And one of the reasons why Georgia Southern is picked as high as they are, second in the East, is he's got lots of weapons to throw the ball to. You got two all-conference wide receivers coming back in Dalen Cobb and Josh Dallas, and also you've added Camden Brown, who was at Auburn. You had Dylan Gary, who had a spectacular season playing at West Georgia in the FCS level.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys that played college football, and you start with Dalen Cobb and Josh Dallas and the production that they've had at their positions. You add Camden Brown, who's played a lot of college ball at Auburn, Dylan Gary, and you look at the two tight end positions that we always count as receivers too. To go ahead and bring in a River Helms and a Mon Green, have Elijah Walton back, J.P. McKell back. You're deep on those outside positions that push the ball vertically for us. So very thankful to have those guys, and I know JC is too. The best friend of a quarterback is a good receiver running down the field.
So let me get this straight. You stole your brother's tight end.
Yeah, that's always, that makes for an interesting conversation over a family vacation. But yeah, we have a lot of love for each other. We're glad to have River with us.
Yeah, he had 41 catches, 5 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. In your running back room, again, you bring back some incumbents in O.J. Arnold, who's back with you, had 316 yards rushing, but also a good ball catcher out of the backfield. And David Badinga comes back as well.
Yeah, it's a deep room, and OJ has played since his true freshman year for us, right there with Jalen White, and we're hoping that David Mbadinga, guys like Terrence Gibbs, will allow us to fill in that spot where Jalen produced a lot of yards for us.
Big fan of O.J. Arnold. Saw him score 5 touchdowns for Brooks County in the state championship game. He could not be tackled. Had over 300 yards rushing in the biggest game of his high school career. Offensive line, another reason why I think people are bullish on the Eagles is you bring back a couple of all-conference offensive linemen in Caleb Cook and Pishon Wembley.
Yeah, being an O-line coach's son, my dad always taught me you win championship in the trenches. Big men win championships. And to have 5 guys that have all played college football, that have all stepped out there, they're all third, fourth, fifth-year guys at the starting position. So, one of the best friends of a quarterback is those pass protectors, and we're glad to have those men with us.
Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball and your young defensive coordinator, Brandon Bailey. How long? We're going to be calling him young for a long time because he was really young when you hired him. I think he was 29. So he's going to be young for a while as we talk about Brandon Bailey here in Sunbelt Football Media Days. But I read the quote. The motto is get the ball down. So make tackles in open space. Let's eliminate explosive plays and live to play another play. That seems like that's kind of the motto and the theme for the defense this year.
Yeah, we've made tremendous strides under Coach Bailey's leadership. To have him for a third year is just truly special. It provides that consistency in scheme as well as leadership, and it makes players play better. And to be able to have Brandon with us within the scheme, we've really recruited around that scheme, and those guys have grown in it. And now looking forward to them having their best year by far.
Let's look at the linebacker core. Unfortunately, you have to replace Marcus Watson Trent. He goes in the transfer portal. He's now at Nebraska. But you get out of the transfer portal Brendan Harrington, who's a all-conference guy from App State. So he joins your program. Davion Hicks back there as well.
Yeah, that was real concern. Anytime you lose a Mar that's had 100 tackles per year and the defensive MVP of the league, you're a little bit nervous. But to be able to acquire Brendan Harrington in the transfer portal, Brandon Tyson, who will become a well-known name, to have Davion Hicks back and a bunch of young linebackers behind them, that room transformed into one of the strengths of our football team, in my opinion. And Brandon's done a really nice job. He was a team captain at App State. He's provided that immediate leadership that we lost with Mar, and the guys look up to him, and so glad to have him.
Defensive line, you bring back Davion Rhodes. He's here with you today, and we'll be hearing from him with Rocky in just a few moments. And also Latrell Bullard, all 340 pounds of him. 35 total tackles, 4.5 TFL. I mean, it's hard to replace that kind of size. And fortunately for you, you don't have to.
No, to have Latrell in that staple position, true run stopper on first and second down, one of the best not only in our league, but I think the country. And then to have Davion Rhodes, he does such a great job. He really had a breakout year last year. Ended the game at James Madison for us with a big sack, created a huge turnover on the road at Coastal Carolina that won that game for us. Their two leadership on that defensive front has really stood out to us in the offseason, and looking forward then to watch them play this year.
Coach, in the secondary, you bring back a couple of all preseason players as well. Chance Gamble comes back. He had 3 picks, 8 PBU last year. Tracy Hill comes back. He had a couple of interceptions for you last year. You also bring back your nickel, Aiden Jackson, who I saw play at Walton High School, really dynamic player. He looked pretty good in the secondary.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we really felt like the edges were really secure, having Chance come back, Tracy come back, and then I think Aiden Jackson's maybe prepared for an All-American year. He really had a nice spring. Really acquired some nice pieces in the back end and the safety position through the transfer portal. Looking forward to watching those guys in training camp. But the secondary position has really bolstered itself in the offseason.
Yeah, guys like Justin Myers, Jaden Davis, Antonio White. Again, he comes from Rutgers, but he's a Parkview High School guy from the city of Atlanta. So those are the guys on the back end, or the guys that you're bringing in on the back end.
Yeah, definitely. Lost some good players last year, ending their eligibility, and really felt we had some dynamic young kids, but wanted to add a little bit of older statesmen in there, and to be able to acquire those gentlemen was really important for us.
And once again, you have an all-conference punter. It seems like you guys always, and I know punter, everybody laughs at, you're laughing at it. You're the head coach and you're laughing, but I mean, punters are necessary. It's a really real weird position because you love to have a great punter and you never want to use him.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad you brought it up, because special teams for us is so important. You look at one of the best special teams not only in our conference but the nation. A large part of that was Alex. He was the #1 punter in our conference last year. Special teams create momentum, they create field position, they create points, and Alex is a huge part of that. And he's not only one of the best in our conference right now, he's currently one of the top 25 punters in the country. So we're glad to have him back.